Hey YouTube. Well, I wanted to do this video just more or less to ask the American friends out there and people that live there, because because of all the news you get, and basically comparing a city with another city. So I'd like to compare Portland with Detroit. Detroit being labelled in America as most uninhabitable city, I believe, which I don't know if that's quite true anymore, but it might not be. But as far as I understood it, as far as prospects for young people and um, you know chances for some people to, like, if you looked at it from a like, if you added up the numbers and then you said these people have this much of a percentage of succeeding, I believe Detroit still scores quite low, but if not the worst. But like, for the fact that that there's virtually no law enforcement in Detroit, that basically houses get turned into, like, people just squat in them and then do drugs, and yeah, and that basically they're clearing out entire suburbs and building farms. I believe that's what they're doing in Detroit, which is good. That's good. So they've obviously realised that they've got a problem and they're trying to find a way around that, which is what you do. But then you've got the city of Portland. Oh my God. Where do we start with that city? You've got an idiot mayor, as in Ted Wheeler, who doesn't want to enforce the law, so you may as well not have any law enforcement whatsoever. You've got Antifa, who basically are a terrorist organisation, and they run rampant in Portland every day virtually, and nobody does anything about that. Like, yeah, that's Portland for you. Like, put it this way: when City Hall is boarded up with boards to stop people petrol bombing the city hall, like, really, that tells you everything you need to know. Why in God's green earth would anyone want to live in Portland when that is what you're faced with? Like, I don't mean to put a place down, but the fact is, Portland has not addressed its issues. It hasn't recognised them. It hasn't even acknowledged them. It's just gone, this is happening, okay, and just allowed it to happen. Instead of going, wow, we're getting worse than Detroit. That's saying something, since Detroit only went bad because it went bankrupt, not because not because the city, like, people wanted to destroy our city. Like, yeah, well, you know how they say Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, Portland wasn't destroyed in a day, but I'm sure it will be at some point in time. They'll be like, oh, actually, the city's been wrecked more than it needs to be. Perhaps we kind of, did that whole Roman emperor who set all of Rome on fire. Yeah. Anyway, that's Portland for you. And look, I don't want to get political or anything like that, right? Let's just rule politics out. But in Portland, like, if we just take it from just statistical, what we see, businesses getting torched, homes being vandalised, and people being, like, ransacked at their home. Like, I've seen videos of these Antifa groups and that going to and Black Lives Matter groups going to people's houses and areas like that, and they vandalise out, they spray paint all over their home. The people go out to defend their property. I've seen a video where a guy actually didn't even go outside. He just picked up a shotgun and just showed that he had it. And they called the cops, and the cops arrested him. And then when they arrested him, the group just went in and just stole half his gear. Like, they just went and thefted everything. And do you think the police would do anything about that in Portland? No, because you got Ted Wheeler who allows that, who thinks that's okay. So, yeah. So if you live in America, my question to you is, why would you want to live in a place like that? Like, there's obviously no good family values there. There's nothing there. I mean, it's a very, very long way, from being good. But that would be my question. Is like, why would you choose to actively live there? It's just, it baffles the mind. It's like your place of like your home. It's going to get devalued in Portland. Like if you paid $100,000 for your home in Portland, or let's say, I don't know what a reasonable price for a house in America is, but I think it's a bit cheaper over there than it is here. So let's say between 100 to 175,000, right? And that buy a pretty decent home over there, I'm guessing. And yeah, why would you spend that kind of money there in Portland, knowing that in years to come it's probably going to be worth way less? Why wouldn't you go to a city that has prospects? Like, why would you go to one that you know for a fact that it's going downhill, the leadership's terrible, and people just stopped caring a long time ago? So there's no use hanging around. Like, the smart money would be to move to, like, well, just look around and go, okay, well, what states are up and coming? Where is their work? Where is their prospects? Where is their good family values? Where do people care about what happens to each other? Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, yeah. And that's where I would say Detroit is well on its way back compared to Portland, because Detroit recognised that their population is people leaving Detroit. There's a lot of vacant blocks and a lot of empty houses, but they're all like being trashed. So the only thing left to do is to start new. So they're getting rid of them and, starting little farms and stuff. I mean, that to me, that's thinking, that's forward thinking, and that to me would tell me that anyone that lives in Detroit has more of a future than anyone that lives in Portland, at least in the next 20 years or so. Like, you could turn around and say, well, there's a chance that their little farms and that could develop into small, medium-sized businesses, and they've got a chance that something is going to be better than what it was yesterday. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my question to Americans. I'm happy to be wrong. You can tell me how wrong I am, but please explain to me how I'm wrong, because I'm just watching the news like everyone else does, and it's always Portland. It's always Portland that's in the news, and it's always because of crazy mobs of people. And it doesn't really matter what their political views are. They're absolutely insane. All right. Peace.